Hello, you doing, folks? Welcome to Recovery Now, and my name is June Planas, and I'm your host. And today I got a special guest, one of my best friends, Marlo. Say hi, Marlo. Give her a hand.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's good to have you. I've been trying to get you in here for quite a while.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm,
so Marlo, this is how we do this.
okay.
I'm gonna ask you a few questions. Like first, I'm gonna start with you yourself had a run with drugs and all that, and so we wanna hear about it, so that people out there that are watching could see how yours progressed and where you at now,
Yeah.
so they could see that there's hope. So the first thing I want to know is like if you could remember how old were you when you started, and how old were you when you actually stopped?
Okay. Well, I first want to say thank you for having me on your show.
You got
I truly
my pl-
appreciate it.
my pleasure.
No, it's really my honor. I know you had a vision for this, and it's just wonderful to see how it came to pass. And with that being said, so my earliest recollection of using was in my early teens,
Okay.
13, 14.
Yeah.
I grew up in a community of kids where, we used to skip school and go from
Yeah.
house to house and
Hooky playing. Yeah.
exactly, and it was more just experimenting with marijuana, and maybe drinking a little beer. And
Right.
at one time, one of the young fellas that was hanging out with us, he stole some liquor from his parents'
Right.
bar inside of
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
home, and we drunk that, and like that was the worst day of my life. It was just like I knew right then and there, alcohol was definitely not for me.
Right. But you
And
got sick or?
oh yeah, I was hugging the bowl all night.
Holy shit.
I was hugging the bowl all night. I woke up with the worst hangover that I didn't know that's what it was at
Yeah.
that time, but I woke up feeling so sick, and I just knew that
Did you have?
alcohol was definitely not for
So
me.
you didn't have many of those?
No,
Okay.
not alcohol episodes and stuff. But then when I was like 16, and it was a time where he's my youngest brother, but he
Okay.
was older than me. He was a year older than me, and we were very, very close.
Okay.
And he was going through his own personal issues and stuff, and he just all of a sudden one day just left. Like, yeah, like he just vanished. Like we didn't know where he was. And it was very upsetting, very disturbing, for my mother. And it was during the time when crack cocaine, hit the scene
Yeah.
in the mid '80s and stuff.
Yeah.
And all I remember is it affected my mother so much that I no longer was seeing her present in the house.
Right.
And it was like just this dark cloud, this depression that just came into the house. And I can remember always coming home to being alone.
Is that what drove you to?
Well, yeah, then well, I could say it today, but I didn't really, I couldn't put the words to it then.
Right.
But that's when I first started self-medicating,
Okay. So you started with crack or?
Well, we did experiment with it. I do remember one time hanging out with a group of kids and stuff, and we tried it, but it didn't go nowhere there.
Right.
But when that situation happened, I was hanging around this drug dealer from New York, and he would roll it up in weed.
Right.
And so I would smoke it like,
Lace.
lace marijuana, yeah. So
Yeah.
I would smoke it like that. And I remember, it was just me in the house, and every now and then he would come by and I would smoke like that.
Right.
And it was just kind of taking on a life of its own. But even then, I wouldn't have identified that, I had an issue or a problem or
Yeah.
anything. Like I said, I'm just, going through what I'm going through with my family, and, I'm just using this to escape what I'm feeling. So,
Took you to
there,
a dark place, huh?
yeah, it was a very dark place, but there was always something in me, that always wanted more, wanted to do better, and I knew that that was not, the life that I, wanted to succumb to. So I don't know where I got the information from or how I knew to do it, but I went and applied for Job Corps, and then I left and went to Job Corps, and everything, was fine while I was in Job Corps. And then the next thing you know, I, I stayed there for about a year and a half. I was 16 when I went, and I came out of Job Corps. I was almost close to 18.
Right.
And when I came out from Job Corps, I met another childhood drug dealer friend, who was interested in me, and I'm running, in the streets with him and stuff like that, and he became abusive.
Right.
And it was through his abusive behavior that drove me back into that depressive state.
Right.
And then now I find myself again, because he sold crack, I'm self-medicating with that. And it's always been about self-medication, you know what I
Right,
mean? It's
right.
never been about, this was my lifestyle, this is what I wanted to do, this is how, I wanted to live.
Let me interrupt you for 1 second. When you got to that stage and you self-medicating, was you trying to do it to like get away?
Yeah.
Or,
Yes. Get out of my mind.
Yeah.
Get out of my
To
body.
escape
away from him.
Yeah.
Because there were several times I would run away from him and go and do it, and he would come and find me, and it was just like, oh my goodness, it
See-
was a nightmare. It was really a nightmare.
But see, that's one of the things that we all addicts, alcoholic addicts, to have in common. We self-medicate to try to get away from the life that we're in, because we're depressed, we're sad, we're angry, we're full of hatred for whatever the reason is that drove you to that stage. We all wind up in there, and I noticed that everybody, because that's why I used to self-medicate. At first, it started as fun, hanging out and all that, but as time goes by, it takes a life of its own, just like you said.
Yes.
And it starts to control you.
Yes.
And you see every time you're high, it's like you forget about everything, But when you come down, it's either worse, it's still there, or it's either worse.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
let me ask you a question. When you were in that stage, did you ever have any problem with money?
With money?
Yeah.
No, because I had drug dealers.
Okay, so you never had to do. Okay.
No.
The reason I ask is because
No, I understand why you're
yeah.
asking that, but
and-
yeah, no.
a lot of us. Me, I always had 2 jobs, but I never had any money.
Yeah.
Because I was always, the dealers had oh, see this? You had your nice watch. The dealers used to wear this. Used to wear all nice, fancy. And I always used to say, one day I'm going to have that. And what I didn't realize is that my money was what was supplying that.
Exactly.
And so I would go and steal. And I would sell stuff to make money, even though I had 2 jobs.
Yeah.
So that's why I was asking you that question.
Yeah. I can totally
Now-
understand that, and it is a part of the game. At the end of the day, when you're out there, anything
Yeah.
goes. You know what I'm saying? So I completely and totally understand that, and I'm not going to tell you that they didn't go to extremes and lengths. You know what I'm
Right.
saying, to make sure that they stayed. You know what I'm saying, on as far as being able to re-up their packages and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah.
But to keep me around, yes, they did supply me, with the drugs, and it was more of a
Okay.
control thing.
So how bad did this get before, and how old were you? Okay, let's go. But how bad did it get And before, how many times did you try to get clean anyway before you actually got clean?
Okay, so are we skipping way ahead?
No, just I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
asking
Because
that.
so,
You-
so I had the episode when
Five,
I was
six,
16.
6 times,
No,
three
no, no,
times,
no. I
two
had the
times.
episode when I was 16, but
Right.
like I said, I went to Job Corps, then I came
Yeah.
out at 17 and a half, and then I had another little episode. So
Okay.
in those times, I'm not even identifying myself as even being addict. So I'm not looking at it as I'm
Okay.
abstaining from drugs. So when I got 18, that's when I turned my life over to the Lord. So
Okay.
from 18 to 28 years old,
You never went to a rehab?
no.
Okay, that's what I that's
Not
what I
at
was
that
asking.
time. Not
That's
at
what I
that
was
time.
asking
Not at that time.
because I wanted to know
But I will tell you, and now if we skip ahead
how
now,
bad. What I wanted to know was how bad did it get before you, not when you were trying to get clean, but before you actually got clean. How old were you? How bad did things get into that, and how old were you when you actually got clean?
Okay.
That's what I wanted to
yeah.
know.
All right. So now we're gonna skip ahead. So I'm clean from 18 to 28.
Okay. So
And
before,
then I
what made you get clean? How bad did it get? Did it?
it didn't get bad. I
Okay.
just gave my life to the Lord.
Okay.
Because I no longer wanted to be in that lifestyle. And the
Okay. Let
drug
me.
dealer went to jail,
Right.
and then now I'm around a different set of people who are serving Christ. And so they're encouraging me in that lifestyle. So I chose to,
And you were 18.
I was 18.
Okay.
Yes. So from 18 until 28, I'm living a Christian lifestyle.
Right.
And I'm married and I'm having my kids and I'm building my life and everything is good. Now, I'm still not identifying as an addict.
Right.
And it wasn't until I had a nervous breakdown at 28 and I went into a deep depression, and literally all the stress and the trauma of everything that I went through during my teenage years and stuff started, coming to a head. And it was very scary. It was very traumatic. I didn't know how to deal with it. I know how to cope with it. My husband at the time did not know how to deal with it, cope with it. I went to professionals and stuff to deal with it and cope with it. I went into rehab. That's when I started
Okay.
trying to go into treatment to find out what exactly was actually, happening
Right.
to me. And they prescribed various different medications, and during the time that they described these medications, they were narcotic medications.
Ah.
Yeah, and I did not know that.
Yeah, no
so what
good.
that did was that triggered that addiction.
Yeah, it made it worse.
Yes,
Yeah.
one that I did not really realize that I had. So now here I am. I don't want to take the antidepressant medication, you know what I'm saying? So I'm craving for street drugs, illegal drugs. So the only type of drugs that I know is what I used to take when I was a
Right,
teenager.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I go to the marijuana, I go to the lace marijuana, and that wasn't working. That was freaking me out. It was a different time. It was a different game. Wasn't the same stuff. So before I know it, I'm smoking crack cocaine again. So literally, for me, it was a year and a half of a run that I did.
Right.
And it was more because, like I said, I'm back at self-medicating. So it had more to do with the fact that I'm angry, I'm disappointed, I'm depressed. I feel like this sickness that I'm being diagnosed with
you have
has
no
blew
control.
up my whole life.
You have no control.
Yeah, I don't know how to control that because I
Yeah.
don't know what's happening
Yeah.
in my life. All I know is one day I was living like this, and now today I'm dealing with this illness,
Right.
and I don't have the support I feel I need to cope with this. I don't have the coping skills to deal with this, and I'm just I'm angry. I'm lashing out. I'm just rebelling at everything.
Right.
And through, getting high, I was able to escape until it got to the point where, and I use this biblical reference, like the prodigal son, but I was a prodigal daughter. And I was in a situation, and I knew that that was not the life that I wanted.
You came back to God.
Yeah. I knew that's not what I wanted. I knew a better way of living and doing things. I had a dad, who already had, multiple years.
that's right, yeah.
Multiple years in recovery. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Who I did not realize all those years of him being in recovery, he was planting seeds in me so that when things did get rough, because he saw the patterns, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And he even tried to speak out on those patterns, but I'm young and
Yeah,
I
we
think I
don't
know
listen.
everything, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, so I'm doing my own thing. But when it came to a place where, like I tell, my kids, when the pain gets great enough, that's what my dad used to say all the time. When the pain gets great enough, you're gonna change.
Yeah.
That's the slogan
That's,
that they have in the rooms,
when you hit the bottom.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if I actually ever really hit a total bottom, but I do know that I did not want that life.
Well, the bottom is different for everybody. Some have to go through a lot. Some the bottom is, but we all. The only way that you're gonna get clean is to you hit your bottom.
Yeah. My thing is I wanted to be well.
Okay.
I knew that mentally and emotionally I was not well.
Right.
I knew that there were broken pieces and there was a lot of trauma and dysfunction that was in my life that needed to be healed.
Did you ever share that with anybody, like,
Well,
family members or?
growing up, I was pretty much always outspoken, and I was always the one able to see the elephant in the middle of the room, and be like, look, this is an issue,
Yeah.
like you need to work on this, you know what I'm saying? So I would point out stuff,
Right.
but when
It came to you.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like when you grow up in it, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When you're young, you notice it. Like my granddaughter now, she's 7 years old. This is
Right.
what I'm talking about. When I'm at that age, like she could point out stuff, and say, Grandma, you shouldn't be doing this. Grandma, you shouldn't be doing that. But as you grow up into your teenage years and your young adult years, it almost becomes a part of you.
Yeah.
So it becomes your
But-
norm.
But
So you don't really talk out against it anymore. Is basically what I'm saying.
what I'm trying to get to is a lot of I was one of them, and this is the reason I do this show because a lot of people are ashamed for different reasons of what's wrong with them, what's happening to them. They don't really know where to go
Yeah.
or what to do about what's happening to them. They know they have a problem, but they're in my family. If you smoke marijuana back in the day, now it's like if you smoke marijuana, you were a junkie. So imagine doing crack and being an alcoholic. So I was like two different lives. In front of my family, I was one way, but as soon as I get away with them, from them, boom. So what I was trying to ask you is, did you ever felt the need, or did you ever, well, not felt the need, but did you ever talk to anybody about what you think that is happening to you? Like, I know I have a problem, but I don't know what to do about it. Did you ever try to tell anybody?
No, because
Okay.
during that time that things were spiraling out of control, I didn't even recognize and realize it was
Right.
a problem. So to better answer that question, it wasn't until 2000,
Right.
and I'm clean, but sober I am not. because I'm
Okay.
still sick.
Right.
But I'm in denial that
Okay.
I'm sick. But I go to work at the Moores Foundation.
So you went to Egypt?
I don't know what that is.
The Nile River.
Oh, okay.
The river in the Nile.
Okay. I was in denial.
Yeah.
And if you want to say, but nobody presented it to me
Yeah.
either for
Right.
me to say, oh no, that's not, my issue. You know what I'm saying? So, but I can use these terms today because, I work in the field, so I know and I
Okay.
understand.
So-
But when I'm working in 2000, I'm working at the Moores Foundation.
Okay. So
And-
you was already working in.
I was.
Okay.
Before.
And you was still getting high.
No.
Okay. So see, I want to go.
This is what I'm saying, but to better answer that question that you're asking me, when I was working this is in 2000. Okay, this is before I went into my deep depression and my run.
Right.
Okay, I'm working at the Moores Foundation and I'm running a group.
Okay.
And in that group, one of the young ladies asked me, where did you go to get your treatment? And I'm looking at her like, what? Like, I never been to no treatment. You know what I'm saying? I just gave my life to the Lord, and he took the desire to drink and drug from me. That was my answer to her.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they saw, the clients, they saw something in me that I couldn't even see in myself.
That's usually how it is.
And you see what I'm saying? So it was right after that is when I went into my depression and I went into my real drug use where I
Right.
knew that I was out here and that I was self-medicating and I seriously had an issue. And then, then at that point, family members were coming to me saying, you need to go get help, you need to go
Okay.
deal with this,
Did
But
you
now
listen?
I'm in my 30s. I'm in my
Okay.
30s at this point, And so, no, I didn't immediately go get the help.
How old were you when you
When I
actually?
finally went to go get the help, I was 34.
Wow, and you
I was
started
34.
around 18. That's a long run.
No. It wasn't a consistent one.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm saying when you first started, until you actually got clean. To me, the in betweens, okay, I got clean for a year, then I relapsed. I don't count the. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I count to the actually time. So you were okay. Since then, this is what I want people to see. You had a hell of a run, and you had a hell of a lot of bumps that you had to go over. I call them bumps. Some are bigger.
He said I
So
call 'em
some
bumps.
are more like hills, but you had a lot of them. Now I want you to tell people, since you got clean the last time that you've been clean all the way up to now.
Yeah.
What's your life been like, and what do you do for a living?
Okay, so it was definitely a journey coming, back because the way you're describing it is in a recovery perspective, as far as from the time you picked up to the time you actually completely, totally stopped, whereas, like I was saying, I never looked at it like that, but you're absolutely right and correct that is exactly what it is, So from 2006, 2007. 2007 is
That's your clean date?
Yep, 2007.
Wow.
So
that's what, 17, 18?
yeah, 18 years.
18 years.
So
Wow.
2000.
18 years. Now, what do you do for a living right now?
What do I do for a living right now? I'm a recovery sports specialist.
Okay. And what is that? What like to in a few words, what does that does for like people that have a drug problem when they come to you? What it
Okay, so I'm a recovery sports specialist, and I guess it wasn't picking up, but my my, if you want to call diagnose, okay, is co-occurring.
Okay.
Okay. So my diagnosis was mental health and substance abuse. So I wanted to deal with my mental health, and by dealing with my mental health, it helped me to overcome my substance abuse. So the struggles I went through
Okay.
in my journey of recovery, I didn't have a me.
Okay.
I didn't have a support system like myself. So I wanted to be that to someone else.
Right.
And it so happened that in the last couple of years, they
That's
have
what you-
been developing this position to assist other clinicians
Right.
to help people who are going through mental health and substance abuse issues. And I went to school, I became certified, and now I work for Wellmore Behavioral Health Center as a recovery support specialist.
So, folks, this is the person to see, the person to talk to for help. She's come a long way, and we should be very proud. You see what she's accomplished. You see what, and then she turns around, and now she's trying to help other people, just like we all do. So, I am very proud to have you as a guest, and everybody call that number that you see on the, right there below me. You see that number right there, this one. That's the number you call. You speak to people like Marlo. Marlo, thank you for being in my show.
Thank you.
And,
I really appreciate you
I
having
was
me.
wondering if sometime down the road would you come back?
Oh, yes.
Because I know you got a lot to say, and you see we have a short time.
Yeah, that went by quick.
So, folks, thank you for tuning in, and remember, God loves us all. Peace.
Amen. Peace.